Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there. It's about that time. It's about that time of the week where you get ready for your work week with the man that is so smooth he does not require a chaser. Your main man, the real, still the real Anthony D. And your main man, Jersey's finest, the hood representative, Uncle Freezie. Hey, everybody. What's good? What's good, everybody? I was just having a conversation behind the scenes. Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the #1 Chief Rockin' Knicks University main man, Uncle Freezie. I'm joined by my main man, my ace, my day one. Nick G is in the building. Welcome to Old School Knicks. We're about to talk that talk the way that y'all like to have that talk to y'all. Nick G, what's good? What's good, Big Papa?
How you doing, man? I just want to say thank you. You know, I don't have the reservoir of knowledge AD has, but thank you, AD, for ducking the smoke today. I don't know what you had to do, but thanks for having me, man.
Shout out to our main man AD, who probably he I don't know what he doing. So I'm just gonna tell a joke. I don't know what he doing. I'm just gonna say, he just couldn't make it, but I'm just gonna say AD is probably somewhere sipping Cavassier. Let me just put it that way. Okay. He's so smooth, he might be just somewhere sipping Cavassier or something. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Only AD can sip Cavassier like 8:17 in the morning.
I think you just went out on my side. Something happened? All right, so am I alone? I don't know what happened. Just waiting on Freezie right now. He's coming back. Hope I could hold it down for you guys. Let me see. I have to bring up the chat. From my phone just so I could touch base with everybody. All right. Salute. I see Chief NYK, what's good? David L, what's good? Kerry Cox, what's good? Kenny Payne, what's good? Old School Knicks in the house. I see you, Ashley INC. What's good? Mega NYK. How y'all doing? It's been a long time. New season. I know Freezie normally wants to lead off these things, so I just want to make sure I respect that and respect the show. So I'm just waiting on Freezie to come back. Just a little technical difficulties. Just bear with us. A lot changed this morning. Just want everybody to know that. One of the topics that I wanted to bring up this morning was fan overreaction. Don't know if Freezie wanted to start that off, but I'm gonna just start it off since he's out the chat. But I wanted to talk about fan overreactions. We overreact so much about so many things. I can't begin to tell you like my day job what overreactions are like. Like I work in the medical field. People overreact to the common cold. People overreact to a stub toe. But when it comes to Knicks and this Knicks thing, man, like we overreact to IQ starting and we overreact to lineup changes, guys who don't play. Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is not even getting minutes in LA right now. Welcome, Freezie. Come on back, man.
I had a computer surge. That was strange.
That's weird.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for my computer to boot up. But let me do this. Okay. Well, maybe not.
You gonna rock on your phone?
Yeah, I'm on with my phone right now while the PC is trying to boot itself back up. So, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I hear you just fine, man.
Okay.
You just tell me. I started the conversation about the fan overreaction, but if you want to lead off with something else, that's fine too. We could go.
Nah. Let's talk about the fan overreaction.
So what I was saying, Freezy, was in my day job, like I see people overreact to everything. A stub toe, the cold, I'm dying, and they just got the bubble guts. Like when it comes to Knicks and Knicks fans, like we overreact to playing time for guys that are out the league as soon as they leave the Knicks. We argue for like this coach is not good enough. This front office is not good enough. The owner, all that stuff. Like on one hand, the owner would spend money if the team is right. There are some teams that owners don't even want to spend money. And then you have teams that have front offices that blow up every second.
Right.
Masai Ujiri right now has guys that don't want to be part of the team and people offering 3 first-round picks for him, OG Anunoby, and he's not even making a trade. He wants the right trade. And he had 2 people walk away from him. You come back to the Knicks and they're like, the front office is not making a move. When Joel Embiid, the MVP, might be for sale some point in time. And it's like sell the farm for Donovan Mitchell, sell the farm for anybody. Just get something, do something.
Right.
And we overreact to so much. It's just crazy how much we overreact to.
Right.
I think of all times, like we had so many teams. This is the most talented Knick team in about 10 years, right? The last 2012, 2013 team, they were very talented. A lot of them were old. But people are still complaining about we don't have a big wing. Tom Thibodeau is not good enough. He got us to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. The front office is not good. They've done nothing but add assets. They're too Kentucky oriented. Now they're too Villanova oriented. And then you just keep going down the line. It's like, at what point in time we just made the second round, almost got to the third round of the playoffs. Almost. They've constantly added or tried to add on the margins, just chipping wood. To borrow Fizdale's term, chipping wood.
Right.
And we're still complaining. Like you've lived through the championship years and also through the 90s, Knicks. Like, and when do we ever stop complaining? If ever.
We won't. Thank you, boss. Come here, I'm gonna put you on camera. Come here. Come here. Get on camera. They want to see you. Okay, never mind.
Oh man!
Yo, that's
Shout out Miss Mocha if that's who that was.
hey, hey, can you see me? All right. So yeah, man. So I think that's an excellent point and excellent analysis. But my thing is, I would like to break that down further,
Okay.
if you don't mind,
Yeah, please.
in terms of because in terms of the overreaction, I think there is um a classic overreaction that fans and people are gonna have. We're in that moment where action and overreaction is a part of society, right? Like
Yeah. Cancel
like
culture.
yeah, like there's a a sometimes call to action, and you know what it is. People ring the alarm for the slightest little thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Knicks fans, we ring the alarm for certain things, right? And then we expect others to come and help us put out the fire when there's really no fire.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that leads us to a place where there is like we're like the little boy that cried wolf when we do it so much. Then when it's come time when the wolf is there, you know what I'm saying? The little boy wound up in the wolf's stomach because nobody
hmm
came to help him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean by that. My my thing is as we break this down, as we parse participles, is when is um overreaction good? Is there ever a situation where the perceived overreaction is necessary?
Okay. I feel like, and let's just use time and eras, right,
Okay.
as a simple example. Us complaining about the Fizdale era,
Okay.
justified reaction.
Okay.
A lot of things that I would complain about was justified. Hornacek, we could, or even um, Derek Fisher. On
Right.
one hand, we could complain about Phil Jackson constantly holding over the team, this triangle thing. Some of the triangle stuff was overblown. Sometimes the media leads the conversation and dumbs it down so much that the Knicks only ran the triangle like 50% of the time.
Right.
They ran other stuff, but all the media could understand, or like because they're simple minded and they try to dumb down the conversation, which is the stupidest thing because we as Knicks fans get touted as the best NBA basketball fans. We know basketball. They always say this. But to dumb down the conversation to a smart fan base just to make an argument, like that's why I never listened to Berman. It was always controversial. Like he'll make toilet paper controversial.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they had 2-ply instead of 3.
Right.
James Dolan should be having 3 and 4-ply when why are
We
we
should be
only on
wiping our
2-ply?
rumps with blankets.
Exactly. Like microfiber plush, you
Right.
know? It's ridiculous. And at
We need
some point
500 count toilet tissue just because it's Dolan. Yeah.
and
Just because it's Dolan. He can afford it.
he
Yeah.
could afford it. And it's weird because no other fan base gets touted, like they use us for clicks. We can see through that now. ESPN numbers is dropping, and they just drum up Nick stories just to get clicks.
Right.
And at some point in time, we got to sift through the noise and just say, okay, they're using us to create stories, and it's not necessarily that we're a bad or good team. Like someone made a dumb trade idea that the Knicks should trade for Drew Holiday and give up quickly and picks and Isaiah Hartenstein and all these everything. Give up the farm just for Drew Holiday.
Right.
And what did he get traded for? A very distant pick. Not really much. Like the comparison. So do something stupid, Knicks, but do something smart, Boston.
Right.
And then we overreact because we didn't make the dumb trade and
Right.
give up everything for a player that will marginally improve us. Donovan Mitchell. They're making fun of us for that. But Donovan Mitchell, even with him, would have never won us a championship last season.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
we overreact that the front office didn't make a move. So
Right.
compared to back when Hornacek was here and everyone, we made dumb moves back then. We undersold J.R. Smith just to tank, and they
Right.
won a championship for another team. We undersold Iman Shumpert, and we made bad trades, and we added Bargnani and all these. Those were times to react, but then we overreacted. Now when we have talent on the team.
Okay. Okay. I want to differ with you slightly on the overreaction part.
Okay.
And I think now is the time for the front office to um be active,
Hmm.
and as far as the fans go, the fans can overreact if they choose, right? But in terms of say a Drew Holiday deal like you mentioned, I think that would have been a classic overreaction by the front office.
Yeah.
Right, because the equivalent, if the Knicks would have done an equivalent trade to what Boston did,
Hmm.
we would have gave Portland Emmanuel Quickly, Mitchell Robinson, a 2029 first round unprotected pick, and a
Hmm.
2028 pick swap.
Hmm.
And in my mind, to get all of that, to give up all of that for Drew Holiday and push Quentin Grimes to the bench, I think would have been a classic overreaction. Now, with that said, I got to produce a note. Okay, okay, what? Okay, I got a producer note. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're
this is
fine.
this is. Mm, can you just the red one? The red one. Hey, everybody. I'll be right back.
All right. All right. Well, I guess I'm gonna rock again, man. I'm just gonna tell y'all the way I feel. Oh, wait,
You
back.
the number two chief rocker, bro. You the number two chief rocker in Nick's universe, man. Go ahead, do your thing. You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? But yeah, my thing is the thing I was suggesting is I think I think you have to be a smart front office and make the right move. Now, with that said, being smart and being inactive
Hmm.
is not always the same. It's not the same thing, right?
Okay.
Because and here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want Knicks fans to get to. The reason why I put pressure on the front office is not that I just want to put pressure on the front office. There is a template out there that championship level teams use, right? And then
Mhm.
there is a mediocrity template that mediocre teams use. And the Knicks are using the mediocre championship template, right? It's the hey, we're gonna wait for the right time. We're just gonna make the perfect move. It's the Chicago Bulls template. The Chicago Bulls do it, right? The who else use it? The Clippers use it.
Okay.
Who else? The Dallas Mavericks use it, right? The Atlanta Hawks. All the teams that you see go up and down in the rankings somewhere between 3 and 8 every year, they
Hmm.
stay in that mode. Now, Boston, the Lakers, the Warriors, they are always championship or bust, right?
Hmm.
Championship or bust. And if you're the Knicks, I think you have to get in that championship or bust mindset. You can't be in that mindset of, hey, if we make this move, then it might set us back 2 years. So what? The alternative is you're not winning the championship anyway. You know what I'm saying? The difference between the Golden State Warriors and the New York Knicks, in my opinion, is the Warriors got a little bit. Well, they got a lot of luck. They got Clay and Steph to set their culture. That was very lucky, right?
Yeah.
But they made their own luck. They selected Steph. They didn't trade for Steph. You feel me? They didn't. Steph didn't play somewhere for 4 years and then you snagged them in free agency, right? Clay didn't play in Portland for 4 years and then get signed by Golden State. They drafted those guys. They identified those guys as culture setters and they drafted them. Draymond Green should have been a top 10 pick, right?
Should
But
have.
the thing about Draymond, the reason why he was a second round pick is because he was a center in a small forward's body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he had significant attitude problems, right? At Michigan State.
Yeah.
At one point during his the season where he was coming out, Draymond Green might have been a top 5 player in college basketball. Nobody can dispute that. But
Especially
the thing is the baggage though, were you willing to take on the baggage of a Draymond Green? Attitude, unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen that type of template before in guys like Ron Artest. And if you're a team drafted in the first round, is your organization built for a wild attitude Ron Artest type guy? Most teams will say, no, we don't want a guy to come in and rock the boat. You know, say our coaches are smart. We're not equipped to do that. This is what we want to do. And those teams that passed up on Draymond Green, guess what they got to do when Draymond Green got starting for the Golden State Warriors? They watched Draymond Green hold up the NBA championship trophy, the Larry O'Brien trophy. They saved a little bit of heartache, right? But gained a lot of misery by not having a Draymond Green type player. Knicks on the same token, just really quick, the Knicks on the same token, the Knicks do not create their own luck in the draft. They just don't. Right? And here recently, you've seen them dodge the draft. Right? You've seen them dodge the draft. They draft dodgers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that circumstance where you have the ability to create your own luck, they chose not to. They chose to play it safe. And by playing it safe, the Knicks are in that space somewhere of, in my mind, between 3 and 8. Right? I think the Knicks have the capability of winning 60 regular season games, but they have zero championship DNA. They have zero championship DNA. They're not creating their own luck. Right. I'm just gonna read the super chat real quick and I get it that way. Bully, thank you for the generous contribution. Bully says, salute Freezie, Nick G. Shout out to the family. I'll be back next week. 718 boys for life. Cold duck. Appreciate you, Bully.
Cold duck. My rebuttal, Freezie, is real simple. Let me start off with this question. How deep do you think this team is?
Deep as
in like you could be
NBA as in quality NBA talent?
Yes.
Or deep as in championship DNA?
Just NBA talent.
I think most teams are deep with NBA players.
Okay.
Right. I think the Knicks, I think we're overrating our talent some. I think Dante DiVincenzo is a 9-point per game scorer.
Okay.
I think Josh Hart is a 9-point per game scorer.
Definitely.
And we view them as 17-point per game scorers just because all of a sudden the Knicks magic will make them better.
That's not true, but
that's
fine. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and Hartenstein, I think is a decent backup big, but I think we overrate him because he's a Knick, right? I think RJ Barrett is a
That's your
solid
boy.
NBA player, and I love
Okay.
RJ. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I love RJ. I think RJ is a solid NBA player,
Okay.
but I think we might be overrating him some
Fair enough.
because he's a Nick, but he's still young and has a lot to prove, and he can do it,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is if we're thinking that this team is deep enough to withstand the punching power of a Giannis or a Tatum or a Butler or a Giannis in the playoffs, I think we're kidding ourselves, bro.
Well, that's not even where I'm going with this.
No, no,
So
no, no, no. I'm just saying it in general. I'm not questioning your
yeah.
point.
So in general, like my overall point is this: some teams made moves this off season, right? Boston gave away their bigs. They're relying on 38-year-old Al Horford, I think is his age.
Yep.
Porzingis, who is constantly injury prone.
Brittle. Yep.
Milwaukee gave up their bench and their backups. Miami lost players in the offseason. Those are the top four teams, the top three. I don't know if Cleveland has the toughness and the skill to. They have the skill. I don't know if they have the toughness to be better than us
Okay.
right now. But I could always be proven wrong, and they could come back. That's
They
fine.
can do it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, while other teams got better, they also got weaker in other areas. One thing that I'm constantly looking at is how many players can we stand losing, and that's the thing that any trade that I see, we got to get players back or a player back. So if we make a big trade and let's say we gave up 3 players just for Paul George,
Mm.
we're deep enough to still replace the players that we lose.
Okay.
That's where I'm going at with that. Because God forbid, we could still play Evan Fournier.
We can still play
God
Fournier.
forbid, we could play Deuce McBride. We could still play Sims if we lose Hartenstein or Mitch.
Okay.
Like we do have depth from the standpoint of if we make a trade, we could replace players and
Okay.
still have NBA caliber players that could contribute, whether it be to championship or not. Like if we were to get Giannis, we'd have to give up a farm, right? Ton of
Right.
picks. But then also too, we have a lot of players that could replace the ones that we would have to give up.
That go. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act, and I know what the front office is thinking because they're constantly adding talent that could replace other talent. So I'm not bothered by the idea of okay, we may lose everyone. Well, that's fine because we have a lot of talent that we could replace them with. And also too, a lot of our contracts are very good in this CBA bonanza
I'm sorry.
that's about to start.
Okay.
So I don't know how you feel about that, but that I just feel like where we are, it really is it is better than we were in the past. For the past 10 years, this is the best we've been.
Okay. Okay. I could see that. I could see that. But what I'm getting at to you, big dog, is this. How about make the deal first and then worry about the guys? To me, this is like hustling backwards. We like, yo, we're gonna fill in the back end of the roster so when we make the trade, we ain't gotta worry about, what I'm saying, back filling the back. Nah, man. How about do the trade first? Go get Giannis first and then figure out what you need once you got Giannis. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just what it seems like to me. It's like buying the car insurance before you buy the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you get a good deal, then I mean,
I'm
you're
with you.
securing. I'm just saying, if you get a good rate, then
I'm
secure
with
it.
you. I'm with you on that, right? I'm with you on that, right? But
Mhm.
my thing is you don't. I think we're doing we do that a lot. Like we buy the shoes before we buy the outfit. You know what I'm saying? We buy the condiments before we buy the meal, right? How about get the meal and then see what the meal is and then get the condiments, right? The
Okay.
thing is, if you do a Paul George trade right now, the last thing I'm concerned with is Evan Fournier still here? Go get Paul George first, and then see if we still need Fournier. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing with it.
Okay.
I think we're being sold a bill of goods, and not by the front office. I'm talking about by Knicks fans and narratives and media.
Yeah.
I think we're being sold a bill of goods that this front office is going to go out and get a guy, but we want to insulate ourselves first. Well, before we go outside, before we put our coat on, let's check the temperature, right? We might not need a coat. You know what I'm saying? I think we're insulating ourselves against that. But what I would rather for us to do is go out and get your Zion first, and then support Zion, right? Because a lot of the narratives during the offseason is and has always been the Knicks are in contention to land such and such superstar. The front office hadn't told us that. The
Mhm.
media is telling us that.
Yeah.
Dudes like Ian, what his name
Basically.
is,
Hmm.
and Ian Begley and all them all these guys say all these things, and these things never come to fruition. What's the big guy from ESPN? Uh Windhorse.
Widows here.
Oh, the Knicks are gonna get a disgruntled star. You just wait and see. Really? And he's only been saying that for 7 years. Where's this dude at? Right? You know what I'm
But
saying?
Freezy, if we don't, and this goes back to the complaint and the argument, like, so then should we? There's a part of the arguing and the disappointment that we feel that takes away from us actually enjoying the team as is.
Yeah, I agree.
So there's so many people that complained about Cam Reddish not getting time last season, and the Knicks made it further than they've been in years.
Right.
We won so many more games than we've won in years. The coach is not good enough, and he won more games
Right.
than most.
Right.
And there's a part of it where Julius Randle, I don't want Julius Randle and trade him, but yet still in January and December, he held us down
Yeah, he
while Brunson was hurt, while RG was hurt. He was
right.
consistent. Then we complain about Julius Randle, and guess what? Julius Randle played about 77 games. How many superstars are playing 77 games? Not calling him a superstar,
Right.
but he's a consistent player that can hold you down for games and get you to the playoffs. He's
I
an
think
82, not a 16 player. Well, guess what? You still got to play the 82 to get to the 16.
right.
Going back to the making the trade, there's a part of it where we just constantly are trying to get the championship, where there's a pathway to a championship and a
Right.
journey that we have to enjoy. If you want to use the great sage or Buddha or whoever it is that say, like, there's a pathway to it, and we don't know the exact pathway because many teams use many pathways.
Right.
Detroit knocked on the door for 4 years before they actually made the finals in
Right.
2002. 2002.
Right.
The San Antonio Spurs was knocking on the door before they got Duncan.
Right.
Like, there's so many times, like, even though I like Jay Williams, which is one of the players, and I also Bain and Devin Vassell, I like those players, but I mean, getting them may have actually deteriorated, like pushed RJ down the totem pole. And
Right.
RJ showed a lot last playoffs, but at the same time, he still needs to improve.
He needs to improve.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, I see everyone improving. IQ made leaps and jumps last season. The year before, he made leaps and jumps, and people are still bemoaning like us leaving Frank in the dust. Like, we had added talent, and we just get caught up in the complaint and what we don't have, and not really appreciate what we do have.
Right. Right.
That
Right.
that's the overall point. It's just like, come on, we gotta at least appreciate what we have, because the season will go by and we'll just be complaining about not having Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is in LA and he barely got playing time in the preseason.
In the preseason, yeah.
And
Yeah.
we complained all year long about him not playing.
But in fairness, Nick G,
Mm-hmm.
in fairness, they were a Western Conference finalist last year, and they have LeBron,
Fair.
right?
We
At
were
at,
knocking on
at
the
his
door.
at his position, right? But here we have a RJ Barrett and Quentin Grimes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And we were not in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. And what I'm getting, the thing about Cam Reddish is not a good player, right? Let me
No,
establish that he's not a good player.
no, he's
He,
not.
he was he was overhyped. We wanted him to be something. He didn't turn out to be anything. He might not ever be anything, right? My
Mhm.
thing though with the Knicks though is why should we even have to settle for wanting a Cam Reddish to develop into a star when you can just trade or consolidate these assets for a guy? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but then there's a part of it where let's just use Milwaukee again. Milwaukee did consolidate for a guy, right?
Right.
Would he push the Knicks over the top? Would Dame push us over the top? It has to be the right guy.
No, I don't, bro. I disagree. I think we're using a Joe versus the volcano type approach. Like it doesn't have to be Joe versus the volcano, bro. It can simply be go get a guy and get closer to your goal. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like for instance, if I ask you, would you package Brunson, RJ, and Randall for Giannis? Nothing else, just those three. Just those three. Would you do that
Mhm.
deal?
No.
Right. I would, man, not only would I do it, I would drive their ass to Milwaukee.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, the reason why I would do that deal is because at their individual best,
Hmm.
there'll never be Giannis, bro. No
Fair.
matter how good Brunson gets, and I think he's on the verge of being a megastar, right?
Okay.
But no matter how good he gets, he'll never have a Giannis type impact. Neither will RJ Barrett, and neither will Julius Randle. But if I can go get Giannis and keep the rest of the team intact, all my draft picks, right? All my depth, the Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Quickly, Grimes, all of that. When I trade those three for Giannis,
Okay.
hell yeah, a MVP, a defensive player of the year for
Okay.
Brunson, RJ, and Julius Randle.
It's
I,
fair. I have to like visualize the rest of the team. That's fair. I'm gonna sit here and say it fair. I would prefer having Brunson on the team
heartstring.
with him.
Heart,
But
you prefer to have a heartstring, right? Yeah. Okay.
well, no, it's not about heartstring. I just feel like he's closer to the kind of guard that Giannis would need next to him. That's all. It's just a aesthetic. Quickly could do a lot of the same things and defend better. So I'm not saying that it really is kind of apples and oranges with my guard, because I just don't want to go through an era where I'm struggling to find a guard again.
Really
Yeah, because
struggling to find a 6'2" and under scoring guard in today's NBA. That's a
okay, but
struggle.
Freezy, before that guard got here, who did we have 10 years? The
Right.
last good guard was Raymond Felton 10 years
All
ago.
right. All right. But here's okay. You asked me that, right?
All
So
right.
I want to ask the same exact question to you, right? How long has it been since we had a Giannis type player on this team?
You got one right now in Randall.
No, nah, man. Randall ain't no MVP caliber.
No, I'm
Randall's
not
not
saying,
wearing
well, but he did come in third or fourth in MVP
eighth. He
voting.
came in eighth.
He
He
came
came in eighth.
close, but still,
He's not Giannis. He's not
he's
Giannis,
not
bro.
Giannis. I'm never saying he's Giannis. I'm just saying
All right.
He's
So with
healthy.
that said,
He
with
could.
that said, if
Okay.
we're saying like for instance, okay, so if Randall is in the Giannis conversation, right? You're saying we can't go out and find another guard that's in the Jalen
Brunson.
Brunson type.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, let's just be
Okay.
consistent with the.
That's
Let's just be
fine.
consistent across the board with all of this stuff. Like in my mind, not only am I giving up Brunson and RJ and Randall for Giannis, and listen, I love those guys, bro. I
Hmm.
love all three of those guys. You know
Hmm.
RJ, and Julius Randle on my heartstrings, bro. Right? But to
Okay.
get a Giannis is once in a Giannis is going to
Well,
be a top 50 NBA player all time.
but
And you're
Freezy,
talking about you're talking about even if these guys at their best, at their very best, these dudes will be top 500 players all time.
Freezy, let me ask you this. Um, I got a BMW, and I'm gonna trade it to you for Mocha.
Right.
Would you do it?
I already have a BMW.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go Bugatti. How about that?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
You'll do it?
What's going to be in there? Is Janet Jackson going to be in there? Halle Berry?
Nope.
Okay. Damn
You're
it.
just getting a full tank of gas. That's it.
Dog it. No, I'll keep Mo.
Okay.
All
Every
right.
trade needs someone to want to give up what they have to get something that you have. As much
Right.
as I could sit here and say, okay, trade Giannis, trade for Giannis, trade for whoever. The only people that were available were Dame and James Harden this offseason. Giannis hinted that the team needs to do something. I would love a Bugatti. I would love to give up Evan Fournier for a Bugatti,
Right.
right? Because that makes sense. But the other team has to want that Evan Fournier to give up their Bugatti, Giannis
Okay.
or Embiid. Pick your MVP caliber player. It could be Paul George. It could be whoever that may come, like Shake Loose or whatever. Donovan Mitchell. Like Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to put us to championship level like Giannis. I believe the trade that they should absolutely pursue is any MVP caliber player that shakes loose. Go after that player, no questions asked.
Right.
But there's a point in time where I do not want to repeat old school Knicks, the the mellow situation.
Oh my
I don't want
God.
to
Come
repeat.
on, bro. You got to
Matter
get
of fact,
over
how
it,
about this?
bro.
Let me give you another one. Keith Van Horn situation. We give up Keith Van Horn for someone that Kirk Thomas. No, it's not Kirk Thomas. It's the other Thomas. Whatever his name
Tim
was.
Thomas.
Who? Rick?
Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas. We gave up Keith Van Horn who had chemistry, all that stuff, for Tim Thomas who had similar numbers but didn't defend as well. He just didn't do everything, and we saved some money. But guess what? We got a worse team at the end
How
of
many championships did Keith Van Horn win as a Nick?
absolutely none.
None. What are we
And Giannis
what are we
hasn't
talking about?
either.
What are we talking about? Giannis has won a championship as a
He
player.
won a championship, but not for the Knicks.
No, because he hadn't been a Nick yet.
But he hadn't even asked for a trade yet.
Yeah, I understand. And he's not going to. They just traded for Dame Lillard. He's not gonna ever be a Nick. Giannis is a buck for life now. Now that
Okay.
Dame is there.
Well, okay, let's use Embiid. Let's say Embiid shakes loose.
Okay.
Of course you go after Embiid. It makes sense because he requests for the trade. If they don't ask for the trade, then how could you complain for something that is not happening? The person has to want to leave.
Okay.
I mean, I get that we should be aggressive, but there's a point in time where we are arguing about aggression versus players that are not really open or free for trade.
Right. Right. And what I'm saying, boss, is it's not just that MVP player. What I'm saying is Boston and the Lakers and Golden State will do whatever it takes. It's championship or bust. And with us, it's mediocrity or bust, right? Because there's no way you can talk to another fan of the NBA, regardless of what their team is, and tell them that Jalen Brunson is going to lead the Knicks to a championship. There's no way you can convince another NBA franchise that that's accurate. Or Julius Randle for that matter. Or Randle and Brunson together is going to win the Knicks a championship, bro. And I love both players. What I'm saying is if you keep both players, then go get them help so that we're in that championship or bust conversation. Or if we're not close, then move pieces around so it can be championship or bust. We have been in the mindset that if we win, and I'm not gonna say it, say I'm not, you know what? I'll say it out loud. I think the Knicks are a franchise that only wants to be respected. We don't care about championships. We just want to be respected. That's it.
Okay. I agree with you. I don't feel James Dolan. I feel like James Dolan wants a championship, but he's not per se ready to do championship things.
Right. Yeah, have you seen what Matt Ishbia is doing with Phoenix? He took that
Yeah,
team. He's only had that team for what about
5 minutes.
yes.
5 minutes. Yeah.
And you see what he's doing with that team?
I get it, but people had to want to be there too, man. There's a part of it where I don't. If you said to me that Bradley Beal said, "Hey, I want to be a part of the Knicks," and we didn't make the trade, even Donovan Mitchell, when that was floating around, he never exclusively said, "Trade me to the Knicks." There were hints. There were all kinds of stuff, but he never said that.
Right.
Like at some point in time, like the player has to want to be here too.
Right. And he wanted to be here, bro. He was in
Yeah,
the
of
city.
course,
He was repping orange and blue. He
of
was throwing
course,
out the first pitch at the Mets game wearing orange and blue. He keeps
ready
saying
to
he's from
come.
Westchester, where the Knicks practice facility is. He's saying all these things without coming out and saying he alluded to it without being straight up with it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, my thing is this. If you keep Brunson and you keep Randall, right? But then you trade for Donovan Mitchell, guess what you have? Now you have three all-star caliber players, right?
mm,
And then if you still want to go out and get a guy, right? Look at Phoenix. If you still want to go out and get a fourth guy, you can do that, bro.
I
You
agree.
know what I'm saying?
I do believe there's a point in time, like just looking at our bench, just simply put, Josh Hart and Josh Hart quickly and DiVincenzo. Those three alone should be able to get us a star. If a team like let's just say a championship level team,
Okay.
um, let's just use Clay. Would you trade those three for Clay or Prime Clay? How about that?
Prime Clay. Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no.
Or even let's say Jalen Brown. I know he's tainted right now, but Jalen Brown.
Yeah, I trade. Yeah,
So I do believe that there are things that could happen, and we're deep enough to give up, or we have enough talent. It's just we got to keep on winning to keep the talent, the value of the talent there, because quickly did raise his trade value by the end of the season.
right.
He was in the running for six man of the year.
He should have been 6 man a year. We know it.
I know,
We know that's politics.
but at the same time, it's like he has value now. He hurt some of it in the playoffs. He was hurt, but by the time this next season comes around, he has value, and we could trade that. It's there, and whoever wants to pay him could pay him. I just feel like I just feel like we could tally up contracts to get somebody, and still let the other team that gets whatever players we give up be competitive.
Just really quick, bro. We have about $42 million tied up in a shooting guard position, right?
Yep.
About $42 million. That's including Quickly, Grimes, Fournier, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart. So we have somewhere between 38 and 42. I'm just doing rough math, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So we got about $42 million tied up in the shooting guard spot. And if I asked you today how you feel about the shooting guard spot, where do we rank 1 through 30 with
Mhm.
other NBA teams at the shooting guard spot? What would you tell me?
Where do we rank?
1 through 30, 1 through 30 at the shooting guard spot. Where would you rank us?
Probably 12, 13 ish.
12, 13 ish.
Hmm.
And we spending $42 million at that position.
Okay, but where's
Do we
Cleveland?
do
Like,
we have
just
I'm
are
sorry.
you just at it? Is it just all the players together? Because like Cleveland should be in the same boat. They should be in the 12, 13 range, and they got Donovan Mitchell.
They have Donovan Mitchell.
But
Chicago
their
has Zach
backup
LaVine.
is trash.
Anthony Edwards. That's my point. That's my point. Would you rather have Anthony Edwards and a trash backup or 5 dudes that are a Yogi Bear picnic? That's the point that I'm getting at. My point is
Hmm.
if Phoenix probably, I think Phoenix may have like $50 million. And well, if you include
Just
Bradley
Bradley Beal
Beal,
alone. Just Bradley Beal alone.
if you count Bradley Beal and Devin Booker together, they probably have 75, $80 million tied up in the shooting guard spot, right? Even though they'll play different positions on the floor. Book
Mhm.
will run some point at times. Bill will run some point at times, right? They spent about $80 million at the two, right? The
Yeah.
Knicks spent about $42 million on like 6 dudes at the two, right?
Mhm.
And we should be excited about that. I mean, come on. I mean,
I don't know.
at some point, man, I understand the depth conversation.
Mhm.
I understand it. And listen, and a lot of if we were talking about the center position, I would agree with the depth conversation at center, right? But bro, come on. In a wing driven league, in a wing driven league, point guard driven league, you know what I'm saying? We don't have a compliment to Jalen Brunson.
I don't mind our shooting guards, honestly. I really would shift that argument towards the three position, and this is where my criticism on RJ comes.
Okay.
I just don't feel like RJ fits the bill
Mm,
because all those guards, those that 40 million that you're talking about.
right.
Let's look at the three position, which Josh Hart plays a role into that too.
Okay.
We're spending way more at the three for multiple ham sandwiches,
Okay.
along with bacon. If well, it's not even bacon; it's turkey bacon. It's tofu
Right.
bacon.
Right.
It's not the real deal because RJ don't defend as well as Grimes,
But neither does
Josh
Josh
Hart.
Hart though. Josh Hart is not a great defender either. Josh
He
Hart has a
he's better
defensive
than RJ.
reputation. Oh, okay.
I'm
So
just
is
saying
Nick
it's like
G. So is Nick G.
I'm just saying it's like I agree with you to some degree, but we could shift that to the three position, and I could stomach the two spot versus the three because the three, to me, I grew up in the in Jordan era. The three to me
Okay.
is precious.
Okay.
You got to be able to defend the three because the three is the most interchangeable out of all. They're in the middle,
Right.
essentially.
So you spending $37 million at the three. 37 million at the three, and it's Josh Hart and RJ Barrett.
Yeah. Tin can to trash can, man. I would do that. What you're talking about, I will package RJ and ship that thing out so fast, like return to Amazon. I don't care
Okay.
because he doesn't fit the bill. Like he would go 1 on 3 so many times, it just irritates me.
Right.
Like, he should be passing a lot more. He should be defending a lot better.
Yeah, he should.
He
He
can't
should.
shoot, and then he makes bad decisions. And
And he makes
we
bad
let him
decisions.
pass because he's the number 3 overall pick.
Right. 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 Okay. Okay. And I'm with, but now you understand what the reason why I think the way I think. Teams like Boston would see this and say, dollar for dollar, are we getting true value compared to what we want? Right? Like they're saying, man, we spend all this money at the 5, and all we getting is a little bit of rim protection and some rebounding, right? Should we be getting a stretching the floor, 3-point shooting, all that stuff? And that's why Boston made the move, right? They're like, man, okay, is Grant Williams and Robert Williams and Al Horford better than Kristaps Porzingis? No, no, because at the end of the day, you're not going to play a bunch of ham sandwiches and the finals in the stretch run and a thing down the stretch, right? You can't put 8 dudes on the floor. Down the stretch, you can only put 5 dudes on the floor.
But
Anytime in the game, you can only put 5 dudes on the floor.
Freezy, I get that point, but even where you can't make that statement as if they won a championship already. That statement says it almost sounds like Boston has succeeded at at their moves, because there is a risk, just as Kristaps has already gotten hurt
Already.
in
Yeah.
in the off season. I mean, he's playing right now, but he had plantar fasciitis,
Right.
lower body injuries on big men, especially
big
at
man.
his size
And his age.
and age. It's critical. We traded him at his peak. We don't get credit for it, but we did.
And that trade is still open.
Yeah, still open ended.
Yep.
I
Yep.
would love to get the players and player that you're talking about, but at the same time, I do understand that while I could praise Boston, while I could praise Milwaukee, and even Miami Heat, like all those teams that are aggressive, they do accept an inherent risk that it's too early to praise them, or we praise them too much.
I think you missed my point on it, bro.
Okay, okay.
It's so the thing is they didn't do those moves because they succeeded. They made those moves because they failed. Right? Boston did not win an NBA championship. So they went out and made a move to get them closer to winning a championship. Right? Milwaukee got embarrassed in the playoffs this summer. That's why they made this move, right? But the Knicks, we don't know where we are. We don't know if this summer past was a success or a failure, right? Because in theory, it looks like we may have exceeded expectations,
Mhm.
but in hindsight, we're like, yo, we're only a few healthy players away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it puts you in that mindset of okay, we won 47 games, we exceeded expectation, we made the second round. You know what I'm saying? We put up a good fight, we exceeded expectation, so we're still on that natural path of getting better. But then when you look back at the loss, we were down 94-92. Jalen Brunson is trapped on the wing and then gets forced to the baseline, right? If he kicks that ball out to Josh Hart and Josh Hart knocks down that 3, now we're going to a game 7 at Madison Square Garden where anything can happen, right?
And
And so
RJ
and
was
so when
1 for 10. Like, we would have never been in that situation had RJ hit 2 shots.
we wouldn't have been in that situation if Obi would have hit that second free throw to tie the game.
2 shots.
Remember this, and I think this is the reason why Obi was shipped out, not the audio. On Obi was at the free throw line in a clutch game with the game, not with a game on the line, in a clutch game, right?
Mhm.
Where all he had to do was hit 2 free throws. He made he begged the first. Remember the first free throw begged its way in, right?
Mhm.
Obi was shaking like a damn deer. Obi was so nervous, right? He rattled the first free throw in, and then he missed the second free throw, right? And then Miami with a 1-point lead comes down the floor, and Josh Hart sees Caleb Martin open for three and decides to go rebound and leaves Caleb Martin, a non-shooter, right? He's a
Yeah,
non-shooter.
yeah.
Caleb Martin is a non, but Caleb Martin knocks down that three, and all of a sudden, the Heat are up by 4. And now you have to change your strategy in a playoff, in an elimination game where you're down by 4. You have to play the game differently, right? Now every shot matters, right? So now you're in that situation where you have to play for a made basket and not play to stop them from scoring, right? Because you have to cut into that deficit. You have to get the game back to a one possession game where a 2 can tie it or a 3 can win it.
Yeah.
And with that said, I'm not listening. Hey, man, I hope Obi has all the success in the world for the rest of his career, whether he comes back to New York or whether it's with the Pacers or whatever, right? But what I'm saying is you coach differently in those situations based on personnel. But the thing about that though is what I'm telling you, Nick G,
Mm-hmm.
in that scenario, if we had a Giannis Antetokounmpo on the floor in a 4-point deficit, now we're not begging role players to knock down threes.
Well, then you'll be begging Giannis, who missed how many threes? 14 free throws to hit free throws at the line.
Yeah,
That
but
same
but
playoffs, he missed 14 free throws in an elimination game.
right, and he's also the same guy that put up 50 points in an elimination game. He's the same dude.
I agree.
In a clutch moment, he scored 50 points in an NBA Finals game, bro.
I agree.
You talking about a dude that is as a dude that was the league MVP and defensive player of the year at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So while I'm not knocking what we have, right? Listen, I love what we have in theory. I love what we have in theory. What I'm saying is the teams that win championships are the teams that don't wait for the Disney movie to happen. Right? The teams that win championships are aggressive in the front office, going to get a guy, is championship or bust every season. Every season they don't win a championship is a bad season. For the Knicks, when we take steps, Knicks fans are like, yo, but did you see, man, but RJ was working with Drew Hanlon this offseason, man, and RJ might come back for, don't nobody give a shit about that. Championship teams don't care that you work with Drew Hanlon during the summer, bro. You know what I'm saying? Do you see Giannis posting workout videos? Hey, look at my free throw form in the offseason. You think Giannis is doing, bro? You think Joel Embiid or Joel Embiid don't have a championship? You think Jokic is posting workout videos in an empty gym against a bunch of temp
No.
workers? No, bro. Come on. You think LeBron and AD are out here like, hey man, look, this is what I've been working on this offseason. I'm gonna nah. You think Steph Curry is like, yo, look at my offseason workout video? Nah, only the Knicks do that because that's all we have. What I'm saying is we need to crank it up. Right now, the progress we've been making, I'm fine with it. But what I'm saying is it's about time for us to flip that switch to championship or bust.
Okay. This is I agree with you, and this is the one thing where people push back against that thought, and I want to hear your what you think about this. We make a move for somebody. Let's say OG Ananobi. 3 picks we give up. Players, RG, whoever. And then next season, things don't go well in Philly and Embiid wants out. We don't have 3 picks to give up for Embiid. How do
Yeah,
you
we
feel
do.
then?
Yeah, we do.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we don't have as much ammunition.
Okay. So okay,
See what I'm saying? Like we just gave up something for Anunoby.
right. So let me revise it just because first of all, OG Ananobi is a nobody, right?
I agree with you.
He's only somebody to us. In the grand scheme of things, OG Ananobi is not a better player than Brandon Ingram,
I
right?
don't think
He's
he's
not a
better
better
than
player
RJ,
than Paul
but
George.
he's not better than RJ.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. OG Ananobi, I know Knicks fans clamor for him. OG Ananobi is a nobody that wants to be a somebody,
Yeah.
right? And the Knicks already have those dudes on the roster, right? My thing is this. If you trade for Paul George, say you give up
It'd have to be
first first of
RJ.
all, first of all, Dolan and Steve Ballmer are not doing a trade, right? Oh,
True.
right, because of how James Dolan forced Steve Ballmer to spend all that money on that new arena that they built.
Yep.
Right? They not friends, bro. They not even gonna be friendly. You forced that man to spend $1 billion out of his pocket when all you had to do was just agree to sell them the. Anyways, so
Hold
there's
on. Wait,
never
Freezy. Wait. Hold on. Microsoft stock price just went up. I think you could afford it.
no. I know it's gonna go up again tomorrow too. It's gonna go up again tomorrow too. But what I'm speaking to is the relationships.
Yeah, I get. I
Right?
get it. I agree with you.
Right. Both of these dudes are gonna be making bread. But what I'm saying is in the petty bro. Listen, man, I've been around. Well, I used to be around millionaires a lot. The
Mhm.
petty people on earth are millionaires. I've only been around one billionaire my whole life. You know what I'm saying? And I mean in a room with them and have them talk to me, right?
Mm,
But it's not like we friends or chummy, right?
mm.
But the pettiest people on earth are millionaires, bro. People that are rich get petty. Little stuff that like the thing going on with Toronto right now, the Knicks will never trade. The Knicks are burning so many bridges so fast that some of these trades that we're like, it's easy, man. Just trade for nah. I mean, it's easy to do it, but when you burn bridges at every turn, franchise is just going to be turned off, right?
Yeah.
But my thing is, the Knicks have 4 draft picks this year, all projected to be in the top 39, right? The Knicks could legit give up this year's draft for OG Ananobi if they wanted to, right?
Agreed.
Two first, their pick, Dallas's pick, and the 2 second-round picks, right? They could
Agreed.
give up this year's draft for OG Ananobi if they wanted to, right? To me, that's too much.
It
For
is.
for OG Ananobi is a nobody. He's not OG Ananobi doesn't have any NBA Finals moments. He's not a multiple time All Star. This dude is not doesn't provide you with something that you can't find somewhere else. He's just a good player. He's just a guy,
Yeah.
right? It's not like we're talking about trading for Zion here. You know what I'm saying? A dude with huge with out of this world potential. OG Ananobi is just a very good athlete, good person. You know what I'm saying? Good NBA player, right? If you talk about Scotty Barnes, I'm like, okay, I could see the Knicks maybe giving up something like that for Scotty Barnes, right? I could see them even giving up something like that for De'Aaron Fox, right?
Mm.
If we want to keep it real, De'Aaron Fox is the type player that we need right now, right? A very good defender, very good athlete, and the best clutch player in the NBA, right? So
Okay.
so in those clutch times when we were wishing for Randall to do something, give the ball to De'Aaron Fox. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox, it was won the Jerry West Award for being the most clutch player in the NBA this past season. It's proven. The NBA acknowledged that in crunch time, De'Aaron Fox is the best player in the league. Right. So if you're talking about trading for a guy that's going to bring that to the table, is that not what we need? Jalen Brunson is clutch. De'Aaron Fox is clutch. Is that not what we need? So we won't have to depend on Julius Randle down the
But
stretch
then,
of the game.
who's available though? It still come back to okay. That's all fine and dandy. I'm cool. I'm with it. But there has to be someone available. Yeah, you can't trade for no like trade air for somebody. You know, like they have to be available. Otherwise, just my regular point. It's we're complaining that they're not doing something when there's nothing available.
Oh. Nick G. I think, yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know about that one, bro. Because there are so many trade rules. Yeah, there's nothing out there until there's something out there. Basically, is what I'm getting at.
I agree. I agree. Because I could easily sit here and say, you know what? Would you trade for Harden? He's
Yes,
available.
yes,
I think he pushes us forward, but not over the top.
right. But the goal is to get closer, right?
Okay. So inches, but not a mile.
Right.
I mean, some people would say that, you might as well skip on Harden. I mean, but you could trade Harden later on. I don't know. That's tough.
Is Harden not a generational talent?
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
Is he not an excellent passer?
definitely.
Yeah, is he not a decent 3-point shooter? Is he not
Definitely.
a all time great NBA scorer?
Definitely. All of the above is absolutely true.
Right, and then what's going to happen is people are going to say, well, he don't play defense. Hey, guess what? Neither does RJ. How about that?
Or Jalen Brunson.
Or Jalen Brunson
Brunson plays defense. He just is not good at
can't.
defense.
He no,
Yeah.
he
He's too
no.
short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not athletic either. He's just a crafty guard that manipulates defenses. Jalen Brunson is an excellent, excellent, excellent offensive player
Yeah.
and leader.
I agree. I
But
just
would I trade for Harden? Yes, I would trade for Harden, and not only would I trade for Harden, I would be open to trading one or two of the young kids for Harden. Right? I would trade RJ for Harden straight up right now, and I love RJ,
I
and
can't
I
I can't
and
go that far. But go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm yep. Hey man, hey RJ, it was nice knowing you, bro. Hey, good luck in Philly. You know what I'm saying? But if you're talking about man, us getting Harden,
Really.
us giving up RJ and say RJ, who matches money? RJ and Fournier for James Harden. You wouldn't do that.
Let me ask you this. I'm gonna throw this out there too. Ben Simmons, would you trade for him?
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Because
right,
that's where I'm at too. Like that's a player that could push us forward.
right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with a Ben Simmons. When I trade for Ben Simmons, I'm gonna have a realistic expectation on what he's gonna provide us. I'm not trying to bring him here to untap his potential. I'm not doing that. I'm like Ben Simmons, go out there and defend on the wing, right? Defend
Mhm.
on the wing, give us rebounding, give us points in transition, right? What I would do with Ben Simmons is have him in the open court play like Shea Gilgis Alexander in the open court, and then in the half court give the ball to Jalen Brunson.
I'll double down on that and also play point at times.
Okay. To let
Just
Jalen Brunson play off the ball.
yeah.
Oh,
It,
that's an excellent. That's a. Oh
because the one thing is he could protect your bad defenders.
Right,
He's
right.
that good on defense.
And then having Grimes, Ben Simmons, and Mitch on the floor defensively.
It'll
Yeah,
it'll propel you.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
where you give up RJ.
yeah,
And to be fair to OG Ananobi, he's a good defensive player too.
he's good
So it'll propel you a
and a
little bit
decent three
forward.
point shooter too.
Yeah. And because RJ missed a lot of shots from three too, and that's needed for space in the floor.
Right.
So and I don't want to just like stick to now because we can go even more old school if you want to, but just as a comparison from this social media age that we're in to back in the day when the 90s versus the 70s and those championship level teams, you witnessed the 70s,
Yeah. Thank you
you
for calling
witnessed
me
the
old,
80s.
bro. Thank you for calling me
I'm
old. I
not I'm
appreciate
not
you.
no, that's why I said witness. you were around, even in spirit.
I was a little boy. I was a little boy, man. Let's not act like I was a grown ass man smoking
Nah,
cigarettes and drinking beer. You know
nah.
what I'm saying? Let's,
I mean, with the
let's not act
wingtip
like I was 40
suit.
years old when Clyde Frazier was playing point.
But what was the criticisms or the complaints like back then?
The complaints from what I gather, the complaints about the Knicks that I remember is that the Knicks are old and we need to trade these dudes off and get young pieces in here. That's the very start of my memory of Knicks fans, right? Earl of Pearl was old, right? Clyde Frazier was old. Willis Reed was old. Dave DeBusschere was old. Phil Jackson was older. Phil Jackson might have been like 29, 30. Back when they used to call him Windmill Phil, you know what I'm saying, was older. And the thing is we're not going to get back to the championship unless we get an infusion of youth in here. And when they did it, they failed at it. Like we legit drafted Michael Ray Richardson instead of Larry Bird.
Okay.
And when you think about that, dun, 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 like when I was talking about how teams make their own luck,
Yeah.
Larry Bird had a thing out there like, I'm not signing unless I get the bread. You're gonna give me the bag or I ain't signing with you. And teams passed on him because they didn't want to give him the bag. And all those teams that didn't want to give him the bag watched the Celtics go on a historic run in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being burned like that, and I'm just gonna call the name Stephen A. Smith because I feel like he says a lot of just wild and outlandish trades. How desperate are you for the Knicks to make moves? Because he sounds desperate, and he's from that era. Most
Yeah,
older
yeah,
players
all of
that
us
here.
are around the same age. Like we're probably 5, 6, we probably like 10 years younger than Chuck D and Spike Lee and all them dudes. Right?
Okay,
Like I don't know how I think Spike them is like 64, 65, something like that. So we're probably about 10 years younger than them dudes, right? But my thing is with those guys is those guys are desperate because these eras give you deja vu. Like this era that we're in right now
mhm,
gives you deja vu to past regimes. And so in that deja vu, you already know how the movie ends. It's like watching that series
okay,
Halloween. You already know how Halloween is gonna end. Jason Voorhees is gonna die in some weird um nebulous way, which you don't know if he's actually dead or not until the next movie starts. You know he alive.
he
That's
alive.
what that's what it's like. That's what it's like right now watching the Knicks, bro. Our thing is we have to go for it, bro. Right? The only thing that fails is a try. We can't complain about not having the championship when you never go for it. Right? If,
Okay,
if you never go for it, you can't complain about not having one. Right?
okay.
Yeah,
So
I got like 3 more minutes, man. I got
yeah,
to go
yeah.
through.
The just one more question, because I think we're like three owners um away from a champion, like in the past. Three different owners, right?
Right, right, right.
Is it ownership? Is it just New York? Is it the
No,
influence of the fan base or the Yankees?
no, it's not the fan base, bro. The fans deserve better. It's not the fans. It's not Nick G, right? It's not Wiz, right? Right? It's what it is a confluence of a lot of factors that are at the front of the line that shouldn't have importance. Period. Right? Like one thing that's important,
Mm,
one thing that's at the front of the line for Knicks fans that shouldn't have any importance whatsoever is narratives and PR. Who cares about narratives, bro, when you're winning? The thing is, the Knicks PR department is better than the Celtics and Golden State Warriors PR department, right? But
Yeah.
how does that look in a trophy room, right? How does that? Scott Perry left, right? You know, Knicks PR didn't even put out a thank you to him. He walked out the door. There was no thank you, Scott Perry, for all your work over the years and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as Gerson Rosas got promoted, there was a thing on Knicks PR. Gerson Rosas has been promoted to blah, 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 executive of the such as of the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
And while we're promoting Gerson Rosas, right, the Boston Celtics are trading for Drew Holiday, right? And so as a Knicks fan that watches this, we're so accustomed to how the Knicks do things that we don't even notice what they're doing. It's like sleight of hand. While Golden State has added Chris Paul, Golden State added Chris Paul to facilitate for Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. We out here promoting Gerson Rosas. Thank
Fair
you,
enough.
Knicks fans. You're welcome.
Fair enough.
All right, bro. I gotta get out of here, man.
Hey,
My dog has been whining the whole time.
hey, I love the conversation. I love to know about the past, like of this team, um, and like how it affects the future. I mean,
Right, right,
I don't think the owner has as much influence as people like to make it seem,
right,
but I do believe that like we are on a good path,
right.
and whether or not this front office gets us there, whoever picks up the mantle from here has a lot to work with.
Right. Right. All right, brother. It was great having you, man. Appreciate it.
As always.
Hey, yo, why you don't come around no more, man? You just what are you doing? Just sitting around counting $50 bills? I mean, what's happening?
Man, I wish I was counting $50 bills, man. But even like I almost canceled on you because my son threw up right before we went
Oh
live. I
man.
mean, it's
You didn't
crazy,
say
man.
did you say Knicks? That will make people throw up, bro. You, hey son, I'm about to talk Knicks.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
But
yeah. It
gee,
will unsettle some stomachs, bro. Just
oh,
talking
man,
Knicks sometimes.
it's crazy.
Yeah, man. But all right, man. Thank you for rocking with us, chat. Thank you for rocking with us this morning.
Anytime.
Hope y'all football teams win and all of that stuff, man. So we
Thank
are
you.
out of here. Peace, y'all.
All right. Peace.